One breezy morning, Dinolette was playing near a waterfall, splashing in the cool water, when she heard something strange, a soft whisper in the wind. "Help me!" Dinolette's eyes widened. "Who said that?" The wind blew through the trees, making the leaves ripple like waves, and the whisper came again. "Find me, before it's too late." Dinolette's tail twitched. A mystery. She loved mysteries. Dinolette followed the whispers deeper into the jungle, past twisting trees and tangled vines. The wind grew stronger, guiding her toward a rocky hill covered in ancient carvings. On the biggest rock, she saw an engraving of a swirling wind, and beneath it, a small stone door. Dinolette gasped. A hidden door. But how do I open it? Dinolette pushed and pulled on the door, but it wouldn't budge. Then the whisper returned, "Dance like the wind." Dinolette tilted her head. Dance? She twirled in a circle, flapped her tiny arms like the breeze, and suddenly, whoosh! The wind swirled around her, lifting leaves into the air. The stone door rumbled and slid open. Dinolette stepped inside and found a small, shimmering orb floating in the air. It was the wind spirit, trapped in a magic bubble. The wind spirit sighed. "Thank you for finding me. I was locked away long ago and grew too weak to escape." Dinolette tapped the bubble, but nothing happened. She thought, if wind can open doors, maybe it can break this too. She took a deep breath and blew as hard as she could. The bubble cracked, then shattered. The wind spirit floated freely, its glow growing brighter. "As a reward, I give you the gift of the wind." A gentle breeze surrounded Dinolette, lifting her slightly off the ground. She floated for a moment, then landed softly. "Wow! That was amazing!" The wind spirit chuckled. "Whenever you need help, the wind will guide you." Then, with a final whoosh, the spirit vanished into the sky. One sunny afternoon, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near a crystal-clear river, splashing in the shallow water. Suddenly, she heard a voice calling her name, but when she looked around, no one was there. "Hello?" she called. "Hello," the voice echoed back, but this time, it sounded different, like a whisper from deep inside the jungle. Dinolette's tail twitched with excitement. A mystery. I have to find out who's calling me. As Dinolette followed the voice, she noticed strange, smooth stones along the riverbank. She picked one up and whispered, "Hello?" To her surprise, the stone whispered back. "Hello," it murmured, its voice soft and distant, like an ancient secret. Dinolette's jaw dropped. Talking stones? This river is full of surprises. Dinolette followed the whispers deeper into the jungle, where she discovered an ancient stone statue shaped like a giant turtle, covered in vines. The statue's eyes suddenly glowed, and it spoke in a deep, echoing voice. "You have found the river of echoes, little one. It carries the voices of the past. But beware, some voices are lost and need help to return home." Dinolette's heart raced with excitement. "I'll help." But, how? The statue told her that one voice was trapped in the river, unable to find its way home. Dinolette listened carefully and heard a soft, distant voice calling for help. She waded into the water and picked up a small, cracked stone. "This must be it," she said. "I just need to fix it." Dinolette placed the cracked stone into the river, and the water began to swirl around it. A soft hum filled the air, and suddenly, the stone glowed brightly and floated up. From inside, a gentle, ancient voice whispered, "Thank you, little one." I can go home now. The stone dissolved into light, and the river became calm again. Dinolette grinned. I did it. As she walked back home, Dinolette picked up another small river stone. She whispered, "Hello?" And the stone whispered back, but this time, it was her own voice. Dinolette giggled. I guess I left my own echo in the river. With a happy heart, she ran back to the jungle, knowing the river of echoes would always carry her voice, just like it carried those from long ago. One misty morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near the edge of the jungle, where the trees thinned out into a wide, mist-covered lake. As she hopped on a rock near the water, she noticed something strange. The mist wasn't moving like normal. Instead, it swirled in a perfect circle in the middle of the lake, as if something hidden was waiting beneath. Dinolette's curiosity sparked. I have to see what's in there. Dinolette took a step forward, but suddenly, the mist began to swirl faster, and with a soft whoosh, a tiny floating island rose from the water. The island was covered in glowing flowers and tiny waterfalls that poured directly into the lake below. In the center stood a twisted old tree with golden leaves, its branches stretching toward the sky like a protector of secrets. Dinolette's eyes sparkled with excitement. Wow! A floating island? I have to go there. There was no bridge to the floating island, only a series of large lily pads leading toward it. Dinolette hesitated. Can I really jump across these? The wind blew gently, as if whispering encouragement. She took a deep breath, and leaped onto the first lily pad. Boing! It was bouncy. Dinolette giggled, hopping from one lily pad to another, getting closer and closer to the island. As soon as Dinolette stepped onto the floating island, the golden-leafed tree shimmered. A soft voice echoed. You have found the island of the sky. Few creatures are brave enough to reach it. Dinolette blinked in surprise. The island can talk. The tree glowed, and suddenly, a golden fruit appeared on its lowest branch. This is a gift for you, little one, the voice whispered. Dinolette carefully took the golden fruit, feeling a warm energy fill her tiny body. As soon as Dinolette took a bite of the golden fruit, the island shook gently, and the mist swirled once more. The voice whispered, this island appears only to those who believe in adventure. One day, you may return. Before she could say anything, the island slowly faded into the mist, sinking back into the water. Dinolette gasped as she found herself back on the shore, holding the golden fruit in her claws. Dinolette looked down at the golden fruit and smiled. She took another bite, and suddenly, she felt lighter than air. Her feet lifted off the ground slightly, as if she could float just like the island. She giggled. I think this adventure just gave me a little bit of magic. With a happy heart, she ran back into the jungle, wondering what her next adventure would be. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the jungle trees, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, noticed something magical. The jungle was twinkling with tiny golden lights. She gasped. Wow! What is happening? A friendly jungle bird chirped. Tonight is the Firefly Festival. The fireflies gather to dance, and the jungle glows brighter than the stars. Dinolette's eyes sparkled with excitement. She wanted to see the fireflies up close and join the festival. Dinolette wanted to follow the fireflies, but they moved in a swirling pattern, as if leading her somewhere special. She happily bounced through the jungle, watching the fireflies form a glowing path. Finally, the fireflies gathered in a giant clearing, where an ancient tree stood, its branches covered in shimmering lights. The heart of the Firefly Festival, Dinolette whispered in amazement. As soon as Dinolette arrived, the fireflies started dancing. They twirled in the air, creating beautiful glowing patterns. The jungle animals arrived too, monkeys, birds, even tiny glowing frogs, all watching the magical dance of the fireflies. Dinolette couldn't hold back her excitement. She started spinning and twirling with the glowing lights. As the firefly dance ended, one large glowing firefly landed gently on Dinolette's nose. It shimmered brightly and then left behind a tiny, glowing star-like light in her claw. "A gift from the fireflies," a wise old monkey said. "It will glow whenever you remember this night." Dinolette held the tiny glowing light close to her heart. "Thank you, fireflies. This was the most magical night ever." Slowly, the fireflies drifted away, their lights fading as they returned to their hiding spots. The jungle grew quiet, with only the soft glow of Dinolette's tiny firefly gift lighting her way home. She yawned. "I can't wait for the next Firefly Festival." As she curled up in her cozy jungle nest, the tiny light in her claw glowed softly, filling her dreams with the magic of the jungle. One morning, as the sun peeked through the jungle trees, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was drinking water from a calm river when something strange happened. The water started changing colors. She watched in surprise as blue, green, red, and yellow waves swirled together, making the river look like a flowing rainbow. "What's happening?" she wondered, her big curious eyes shining. A friendly turtle swam by. "The Rainbow River appears once a year. Follow it, and it might lead to something amazing." Image prompt. Dinolette, the adorable pink baby dinosaur, kneeling beside a jungle river, watching in awe as the water swirls with bright rainbow colors. The dense jungle reflects in the water, and a friendly turtle swims nearby, its shell slightly glowing under the morning sunlight. Dinolette's tiny claws are stretched toward the river, her face full of curiosity and excitement. The scene is bright, colorful, and magical, making it feel like the start of a fantastical adventure. Excited, Dinolette jumped onto a floating log and let the current carry her down the Rainbow River. The water shimmered beneath her, leaving a trail of colorful mist. She giggled as tiny fish that matched the colors of the river swam alongside her, leaping from the water like jumping gems. "Wow! It's like I'm floating on a rainbow," she cheered. The Rainbow River led Dinolette to a huge rock formation, a cave entrance glowing with swirling rainbow lights. She gasped. A secret cave. With excitement, she stepped inside. The walls were covered in crystals that reflected the colors of the Rainbow River, making it look like the stars were shining underground. Then, in the center of the cave, she saw something amazing, a giant glowing rainbow pearl. As Dinolette stepped closer, the giant rainbow pearl started glowing brighter. Suddenly, tiny glowing butterflies emerged from the pearl, fluttering around her like little pieces of the rainbow itself. She giggled as the butterflies twirled and left a soft glowing mark on her tiny claws, like a gift from the Rainbow River. As she stepped out of the cave, the river's colors slowly faded back to normal, as if saying goodbye. Dinolette smiled. "I'll never forget this magical adventure." Dinolette returned to the jungle, feeling happy and peaceful. When she looked at her claws, she saw a tiny shimmer of rainbow light still glowing faintly. "Maybe a little piece of the Rainbow River stayed with me," she whispered happily. She curled up under a big jungle leaf, her tiny tail swaying as she fell asleep, dreaming of colorful rivers and glowing butterflies. One morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near a peaceful jungle lake when she saw something amazing, an island floating in the sky. It wasn't just any island. Lush green trees, waterfalls pouring into the clouds, and colorful birds flying around it made it look like a magical paradise. How do I get up there? Dinolette wondered, her tiny tail swishing with excitement. Just then, a giant leaf boat floated toward her on the lake. It glowed softly, as if it knew she needed a ride. Dinolette stepped onto the magical leaf boat, and the water began to ripple with golden light. Suddenly, the boat lifted off the lake and started floating upward. She gasped, looking down at the jungle getting smaller beneath her. Soft clouds surrounded her, and the air felt cool and fresh. Wow! I'm flying! Dinolette giggled as the boat gently soared toward the floating island. As soon as Dinolette landed, she stepped onto the soft grass of the floating island. The trees here sparkled with golden leaves, and the waterfalls shimmered like liquid light. Strange but friendly glowing creatures floated around her, small, fluffy beings with twinkling eyes and tiny wings. Are you the island's guardians? She asked. The creatures nodded happily, twirling around her in a playful dance. As Dinolette wandered deeper into the island, she found a glowing crystal tree at the center. It was tall and majestic, its branches spreading golden light. The island guardians led her closer, and suddenly, a soft melody filled the air, the sound of the island's heart. She placed her tiny claw on the tree, and a warm energy flowed through her, making her feel light as air. This island is alive, she whispered in awe. Before she left, the island's guardians gave Dinolette a glowing feather, a special gift from the floating birds that lived above the trees. She carefully held it, knowing it was a piece of the island's magic. As the leaf boat carried her back to the jungle, she looked up one last time at the floating paradise, knowing she would never forget this adventure. One evening, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near a quiet river when she noticed something magical, tiny golden lights twinkling deep in the jungle. They weren't stars. They were moving. Fireflies, she wondered. But these lights glowed much brighter than any fireflies she had ever seen. Curious, she tiptoed into the trees, following the mysterious glow. Dinolette followed the glow until she stepped into a hidden meadow, and gasped. Thousands of golden fireflies were floating in the air, glowing like miniature stars. The entire meadow sparkled with light, and the fireflies danced in swirling patterns, as if performing a magical show. Wow! Dinolette whispered, her eyes wide with amazement. As Dinolette watched the fireflies, they suddenly formed strange glowing patterns in the air, like symbols or letters. What are you trying to tell me? She asked. Then, the largest firefly flew closer and left a shimmering golden trail in front of her, forming the shape of a pathway leading deeper into the jungle. They want me to follow. Dinolette realized. Dinolette followed the glowing trail until she reached a huge ancient tree deep in the jungle. Its trunk shimmered with golden light, and its branches were covered in thousands of glowing fireflies, lighting up the night. At the base of the tree, a glowing golden fruit hung from a vine. The fireflies circled around it, as if offering it to Dinolette. She gently picked the fruit, and as soon as she touched it, a soft golden glow surrounded her. As Dinolette held the golden fruit, she felt a warm energy fill her tiny body. The fireflies twinkled and flew in circles above her, creating a final beautiful dance before drifting into the jungle. Dinolette smiled. She now understood, the fireflies had given her a special gift of light, a tiny piece of their magic to carry with her. With a happy heart, she ran back home, the golden glow of the fireflies still twinkling in the trees behind her. One morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was exploring the jungle when she heard something unusual, a deep, rhythmic drumming sound echoing through the trees. Boom boom. Tap tap. Curious, she followed the sound, weaving through thick vines and tall trees, until she stumbled upon a strange vine-covered wall. The drumming seemed to be coming from behind it. Pushing aside the vines, Dinolette gasped in amazement. Behind the wall was a huge hidden playground. There were giant tree trunks to climb, swinging vines like jungle swings, big soft leaves perfect for sliding down, and a bubbling mud pool where little jungle animals played joyfully. In the center, a group of monkeys was drumming on hollow logs, creating the sound Dinolette had heard. Excited, she ran into the playground, ready to join the fun. Dinolette jumped onto a soft mossy slide and slid down, laughing. She grabbed a hanging vine and swung high like a little jungle explorer. The monkeys cheered and challenged her to a drumming contest. Dinolette tapped her little claws on a hollow log, trying to copy their rhythm. The jungle filled with music, and all the animals danced together, celebrating their new pink dinosaur friend. As the sun began to set, Dinolette knew it was time to go home. The monkeys gathered around her and handed her a special gift, a tiny wooden drum, carved from the jungle trees. "Come back and play anytime," they chattered happily. Dinolette hugged the drum and waved goodbye, promising to return. One day, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was exploring a part of the jungle she had never seen before. She reached a wide, rushing river with sparkling blue water, but there was no bridge and no way across. She noticed a group of jungle animals gathered at the edge, looking worried. "The other side of the river has the sweetest fruit trees," an old monkey sighed, "but no one can cross it. The water is too deep, and the current is too strong." Dinolette looked at the river curiously. "There has to be a way," she said. Dinolette noticed something strange. Whenever a leaf fell into the water, it didn't sink. Instead, the leaves floated in a straight line across the river, as if they were resting on something invisible. She stepped closer and saw an ancient stone nearby, covered in strange symbols. "The bridge is real, but only those who believe can see it," she read aloud. Dinolette gasped, "An invisible bridge." Dinolette took a deep breath. "If there's a bridge, I just have to believe." She lifted her foot and stepped forward. Instead of falling into the river, she landed on something solid but invisible. The jungle animals gasped as Dinolette carefully took more steps, walking across the river as if she was walking on air. "The bridge is real," she laughed. "Follow me, and don't be scared." One by one, the jungle animals followed Dinolette, stepping onto the invisible bridge. At first, they were nervous, but soon they realized it was safe and strong. When they reached the other side, they found a paradise of fruit trees, with juicy mangoes, bananas, and coconuts hanging from the branches. Everyone cheered and shared a delicious feast, thanking Dinolette for her bravery and belief. Before leaving, Dinolette looked back at the river. The bridge was still invisible, but now she knew it was there. "The bridge was always real," she smiled. "We just had to believe in it." As she walked back into the jungle, the leaves on the water shimmered, as if the jungle itself was smiling at her discovery. One evening, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was wandering through the jungle when she saw something strange in the sky, softly glowing, jellyfish-like creatures floating above the treetops. They shimmered in colors of blue, purple, and gold, gently drifting like balloons. The jungle animals watched in awe. What are they? Dinolette whispered, fascinated by the mysterious glowing creatures. As Dinolette watched, she heard a soft, sad hum. Looking around, she spotted a small sky jellyfish tangled in the vines of a tall jungle tree. Oh no! It's stuck, she gasped. The little creature glowed weakly, struggling to float free, but the vines were too tight. Dinolette thought hard. I need to climb up, but the branches are too weak for me. Then she had an idea. She picked up a large jungle leaf, rolled it into a cone, and gently blew air up toward the sky jelly. The warm air lifted the jelly slightly, just enough for it to wiggle free. It floated up, glowing brightly again, and made a happy humming sound. As a thank you, the little sky jelly circled around Dinolette and touched her snout with one of its glowing tendrils. For a moment, she felt light as air, as if she could float too. The sky jellies hummed together, then slowly drifted higher, disappearing into the starry night. Dinolette waved. Goodbye, glowing friends. Come back soon. The next morning, Dinolette woke up and noticed something sparkling on her snout. It was a tiny glowing speck left by the sky jelly. When she touched it, she felt a gentle tingle, like a warm breeze. Maybe, just maybe, the sky jellies had left behind a little bit of their magic with her. Dinolette smiled. The jungle was full of mysteries, and she couldn't wait for the next adventure. One evening, as the sun set over the jungle, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing by a small pond. The water shimmered in the golden light, and the fireflies had just started to glow. Suddenly, she noticed something strange, a shadow moving between the trees, even though nothing was there. Dinolette's eyes widened. Is someone there? But there was no answer. The shadow darted between the trees, silent and swift. Dinolette wasn't scared, she was curious. She decided to follow the shadow, stepping carefully through the thick vines. It moved quickly, almost as if it knew she was chasing it. She ran faster, dodging between trees, until, whoosh, the shadow vanished into an old, abandoned temple hidden deep in the jungle. Dinolette gasped. A secret temple? Dinolette stepped inside the temple, her little heart beating fast. The air was cool, and strange glowing symbols lined the stone walls. In the center, she saw an old stone pedestal with a carved mirror on top, but something was strange. The mirror had no reflection. Instead, it showed the dark shadow, shifting and swirling inside it. Dinolette gasped. The shadow is trapped in the mirror? Dinolette thought hard. Maybe the shadow wasn't bad, maybe it was trapped. She touched the mirror, and suddenly, the glowing symbols on the temple walls shined brighter. With a soft whoosh, the shadow leaped out of the mirror, but instead of being scary, it formed into a gentle, shimmering mist that floated happily around her. The temple rumbled, as if thanking her. The shadow wasn't a monster, it was the guardian spirit of the temple, trapped for centuries. The guardian spirit circled Dinolette gratefully. It gently touched her forehead, leaving a tiny glowing mark before floating up into the night sky. Dinolette looked up, amazed. She didn't just find a shadow, she uncovered an ancient jungle secret. As she walked back home, she smiled. The jungle was full of mysteries, and she was always ready for the next one. One peaceful night, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was wandering near a river when she saw something glowing in the distance. She hurried closer and gasped. On a small floating island in the middle of the river, a beautiful silver blue flower was blooming under the moonlight. The moonflower. Dinolette whispered. She had heard legends about it, a rare flower that only blooms once every 100 years. But before she could reach it, a strong gust of wind blew the flower's petals into the river, carrying them away. Oh no! I have to catch them before they're lost forever. Dinolette jumped onto a floating log and paddled as fast as she could. The glowing petals floated ahead, twirling like tiny stars on the water. But the river was fast, and so were the petals. They drifted toward a dark cave hidden behind a waterfall. Dinolette gulped. I have to go inside. She took a deep breath and paddled into the misty cave, disappearing into the darkness. Inside the cave, the river led to a quiet underground lake. The flower petals floated gently, glowing in the dark. Just as Dinolette reached out to grab one, a giant glowing fish swam up, blocking her path. I am the guardian of the moonflower, the fish said in a deep voice. Only those with kind hearts may take its petals. Dinolette nodded. I just want to protect them. The fish studied her for a moment, then smiled. Then you may pass. With the guardian's blessing, Dinolette carefully gathered the glowing petals. As she held them in her little claws, the petals released a soft light, wrapping around her in a warm glow. She giggled. The moonflower had given her a small gift. Now, whenever she touched the ground, tiny glowing blue flowers would bloom for a moment before fading away. Dinolette smiled. I guess the jungle has one more little magic secret now. Dinolette returned to the jungle, leaving a soft trail of glowing flowers as she walked. The jungle rustled in approval. Another mystery had been saved, not lost. As she looked up at the bright full moon, she whispered, I wonder what other secrets the jungle is hiding. With a happy little bounce, she ran off, ready for her next adventure. One morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near the jungle's tallest trees when she saw a shimmering light through the leaves. Curious, she followed it and discovered something amazing, a hidden lake, shining like glass. The water wasn't blue or green like normal lakes, it was clear like crystal, reflecting everything like a perfect mirror. This is so pretty, Dinolette whispered. But as she stepped closer, she saw something even stranger. Her reflection wasn't copying her. Dinolette waved her hand. Her reflection didn't wave back. Instead, it blinked and spoke. Hello, Dinolette, the reflection said. Dinolette gasped. You can talk. But, you're me. The reflection giggled. Not exactly. I'm the spirit of the crystal lake. I only appear to those with a kind heart. Dinolette's eyes sparkled. Wow! Can I do anything special here? The reflection nodded. If you solve my puzzle, I will show you the secret of the lake. Dinolette listened carefully as the spirit of the lake gave her a riddle. I am silent but tell the truth. I can show you the sky and the trees, but I am not them. What am I? Dinolette thought for a moment. Then she smiled. A reflection. The spirit of the lake laughed happily. You're right. And now, the lake's secret is yours. The water in the lake shimmered brightly, and suddenly, a hidden island appeared in the center. It had been invisible before. Dinolette carefully walked across a shimmering stone bridge that had appeared over the water, leading her to the hidden island. At the center of the island, she found a beautiful glowing blue gem, resting on a stone pedestal. This must be the heart of the lake, Dinolette whispered. The spirit of the lake's voice echoed. This gem keeps the lake magical. As long as it stays here, the jungle will always have hidden wonders. Dinolette smiled. Then I'll protect its secret." Before leaving, the spirit of the lake whispered, "Because you are kind and wise, I give you a small gift." Dinolette felt a warm glow around her. When she touched the lake's surface, tiny glowing ripples spread across the water, showing visions of faraway places in the jungle. She gasped. "I can see things from far away." The spirit laughed. "Use it well, little one." As Dinolette left the lake, she knew she had discovered something truly special, a magical place that only she knew about. One morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was playing near a rocky clearing in the jungle when she heard something strange, whispers coming from the stones. She looked around. The rocks were smooth and gray, but when she stepped closer, the whispers grew louder. "Who's there?" Dinolette asked. The stones glowed softly, and a tiny voice answered, "We are the Whispering Stones. We only speak to those who listen." Dinolette's eyes widened. "Wow! What do you want to tell me?" The whispering stones hummed, and the ground shimmered with glowing patterns. "To find the secret of the jungle, you must follow the song of the earth," the stones whispered. Dinolette tilted her head. "Song of the earth? What does that mean?" The stones pulsed with light, and suddenly, a hidden pathway appeared between the trees. Dinolette took a deep breath. "I guess there's only one way to find out." Dinolette followed the glowing path until she reached something incredible, a river that sang. The water bubbled and shimmered, and as it flowed over smooth stones, it created a soft, musical tune. Dinolette's heart raced. This must be the song of the earth. She listened carefully, and the river's melody seemed to be guiding her toward a cave behind a waterfall. "Looks like I need to go inside," she said excitedly. Inside the cave, Dinolette found a massive glowing stone, pulsing like a heartbeat. The walls were covered in ancient carvings showing the history of the jungle. The whispering stones' voices echoed. "This is the heart of the jungle. It keeps the jungle alive and full of magic." Dinolette touched the stone, and for a moment, she could feel the entire jungle, the wind through the trees, the rivers flowing, the animals moving. She gasped. "The jungle is alive." As Dinolette left the cave, the whispering stones whispered once more. "Now you know the jungle's secret. Will you help protect it?" Dinolette nodded proudly. "Of course. I will always take care of the jungle." The stones glowed one last time before falling silent. As Dinolette walked back home, she smiled, knowing she had become a guardian of the jungle's magic. One day, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, was walking through a part of the jungle she had never seen before. The trees were twisted and strange, their leaves shimmering with silver light. Suddenly, she took a step and, whoosh, the ground moved beneath her feet. The trees shifted positions, and the path she had been following vanished. "Oh no!" Dinolette gasped. "The jungle is changing." She realized she was trapped inside a moving maze. Dinolette took a deep breath. "Okay, I need to find a way out." She noticed a group of glowing fireflies hovering above a strange symbol on the ground. The symbol looked like an arrow. "Maybe they're trying to help me," Dinolette said. She followed the fireflies, stepping carefully toward the symbol. As soon as she did, the trees shifted again, creating a new open path. Just as Dinolette thought she was getting closer to escaping, a group of playful monkeys swung down from the trees. Looking for the way out, one monkey chattered. "You have to solve a riddle first." Dinolette smiled. "I love riddles. Tell me." The monkey grinned and asked, I have no legs but can run, I have no lungs but need air. What am I? Dinolette thought for a moment, then gasped. A river. The monkeys clapped their hands. Correct. The way out is near the waterfall. Dinolette ran toward the sound of rushing water and found a sparkling waterfall hidden behind the trees. I hope this is the way out, she said. She stepped closer, and suddenly, the waterfall split open like a doorway. Behind it, she saw the real jungle, no longer shifting. With a deep breath, Dinolette jumped through the waterfall, and landed safely on the other side. The maze vanished behind her, and the jungle returned to normal. Dinolette turned around, but the moving maze was gone. It had disappeared as mysteriously as it had appeared. She smiled. That was amazing. I wonder if I'll ever find it again. As she walked home, she saw one glowing firefly land on her nose, blinking as if saying goodbye. Dinolette giggled. Maybe the jungle has more secrets waiting for me. One sunny morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, wandered to the biggest river in the jungle to play. As she dipped her little feet in the water, she heard something strange. Psst! Help me! Dinolette's eyes widened. Who said that? The river rippled, and she heard the voice again. It's me, the river. Dinolette leaned closer. You can talk. The river sighed, I could always talk, but no one listens. I have a problem, my water is slowing down, and soon, I won't flow anymore. Dinolette gasped. That's terrible. What's stopping you? The river whispered, something is blocking my path deep in the jungle. Dinolette's eyes lit up. Don't worry, I'll help. Dinolette followed the river upstream until she found the problem. A huge boulder had rolled into the water, blocking the flow. Oh no, she said. That rock is too big for me to move. She looked around and had an idea. Maybe I can find help. Dinolette ran through the jungle, calling her friends, the strong elephants, the clever monkeys, and the swift birds. We need to move a big rock, she told them. The elephants used their trunks to push, the monkeys tied vines around it, and the birds guided them from above. Together, they heaved and pulled until, crack, the rock finally tumbled into a hole in the ground. The river rushed forward again, sparkling with joy. As the water flowed again, the river spoke happily, Thank you, Dinolette. Because of you, I can keep giving water to the jungle. The river sparkled and sent a tiny wave that splashed Dinolette playfully, making her giggle. Anytime, Mr. River, she laughed. As she walked home, the river whispered, You will always have a friend in the water. One morning, Dinolette, the pink baby dinosaur, woke up feeling strange. The jungle should have been bright and sunny, but everything looked dim, as if someone had stolen the sunlight. She looked around and gasped. Where are the shadows? Usually, the trees, rocks, and animals all had shadows, but today, there were none. Something mysterious was happening, and Dinolette was determined to find out why. Dinolette wandered deep into the jungle and found an old wise owl sitting on a low branch. Mr. Owl, what happened to all the shadows? She asked. The owl's golden eyes glowed as he spoke. The shadow collector has taken them. He comes every 100 years to steal the jungle's shadows for his dark kingdom. Dinolette gasped. That sounds awful. How can we get them back? The owl flapped his wings. You must find the shadow gate before sunset. If you don't, the shadows will be lost forever. Dinolette raced through the jungle, searching for the shadow gate. Finally, hidden behind a wall of vines, she found a giant stone doorway carved with swirling symbols. "This must be it," she whispered. She touched the symbols, and the gate shimmered before opening into a dark, swirling vortex. She took a deep breath. "Here goes nothing," and jumped inside. Dinolette landed in a strange world where shadows floated like ghosts above a dark purple landscape. At the center stood a tall, cloaked figure with glowing red eyes, the shadow collector. "Ah," he rumbled. "A little dinosaur has come to take back what I have claimed." Dinolette stood tall. "The jungle needs its shadows. You can't keep them forever." The shadow collector laughed. "If you want them, you must play my game." The shadow collector placed 3 glowing jars before Dinolette. "One of these holds the jungle's shadows," he said. "Choose the right one, and they are yours. Choose wrong, and they are mine forever." Dinolette's heart pounded. She looked at the jars. Then, she remembered something: shadows always follow the light. She turned toward the dim moonlight shining through the mist. Only one jar cast a tiny shadow on the ground. "This one," she declared, grabbing the jar. Whoosh! The jar burst open, and the jungle's shadows flew back to their rightful places. The shadow collector howled, "No! You tricked me," before vanishing into the darkness. Dinolette jumped back through the portal, and when she opened her eyes, the jungle was bright again. Shadows stretched across the ground, back where they belonged. The animals cheered, and the wise owl smiled. "You have saved the jungle's shadows, Dinolette. The shadow collector won't return for another 100 years. Dinolette grinned. "Well, if he does, I'll be ready." As she skipped home, her own little pink shadow followed closely behind. One bright morning, Dinolette, the cute pink baby dinosaur, was playing near the riverbank when she noticed something huge and golden sticking out of the mud. Curious, she dug around it with her tiny claws and gasped. It was a massive golden key, almost as big as she was. What could this unlock, she wondered. The jungle animals gathered around, whispering about an ancient legend, a giant's lost treasure hidden deep inside the jungle. Dinolette's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Let's go find it." Dinolette followed old jungle maps carved into ancient stones, leading her to a massive maze of twisting vines and towering trees. She tried to go left, but the vines moved. She turned right, but the trees shifted. "The jungle is alive," she whispered. Just then, a cheeky monkey appeared. "To get through, you must answer my riddle." Dinolette nodded, ready for the challenge. The monkey grinned. "What has keys but can't open locks?" Dinolette thought hard. "A treasure chest?" "No, it opens locks." "A door?" "No, it needs a key." Then she giggled. "A piano." The monkey clapped. "Correct. You may pass." The vines parted, revealing a hidden cave entrance ahead. Dinolette raced forward, the golden key clutched tightly in her tiny claws. Inside the dark cave, Dinolette's footsteps echoed. Suddenly, she saw something huge, a sleeping giant, snoring loudly. Beside him was a massive golden chest, but it was locked. Dinolette tiptoed forward, heart pounding. Would the golden key fit? She slowly inserted the key into the lock, holding her breath. As soon as the lock clicked open, the giant yawned and stretched. "Oh! Who has come to visit me?" he rumbled. Dinolette gulped but bravely said, "I found your key. I wanted to return it." The giant smiled warmly. You are kind and brave, little dinosaur. As a reward, take one treasure from my chest. Dinolette peeked inside and saw golden bananas, sparkling rubies, and a tiny silver whistle. She picked the whistle, it looked special. As Dinolette stepped outside the cave, she blew the whistle softly, and a rush of wind swirled around her. The whistle was magic. It could call the wind to help her whenever she needed. She grinned. This is better than gold. As she walked back home, jungle animals cheered for her bravery and kindness. Dinolette had found more than treasure, she had gained a new adventure tool for the future.